My mother is what would be termed today a stay-at-home mum, but in fact for her generation the vast majority of women would be stay-at-home mums, and that was partly because there was so much to be done in the house. I remember wash day, which was a Monday, and I remember my mother collecting all the clothes from the different bedrooms, from the different laundry baskets, bringing them downstairs, sorting them out into the whites and the darks, and then starting the wash process. The washer was just a single tub, and she would put this into the washing machine. She would wash it, and then she would take the clothes and put them into the sink. She would rinse them, and then she would put them through this mangle to reduce the amount of water. Then she would go outside and she would hang these onto the clothesline, and then she would just keep repeating this process until all the clothes were washed. It took all day. And so you can imagine it was a huge chore. But then the arrival of the twin tub, how exciting. This was a machine that could not only wash your clothes, but could spin them. In other words, could actually rinse them out. And so they would be washed, and then they would go into the spinner, and the spinner had to be filled up by hand. It meant that there was water went into the spinner, and she would put this through several cycles, and then she would put the wash in there. They would spin, and then she would have to put more water in the spin, and then she would take the clothes outside and put them to dry. Of course, if it was a wet day outside, then the pulley was used in the kitchen, and the clothes were put onto the pulley, and it was raised to the ceiling, and that's where the clothes would dry. And then the arrival of the next appliance, which was an automatic washing machine. This was a marvelous invention. Not only could she just put the clothes in there, but they would wash them, and it would then spin them and rinse them out. But it did it automatically. She didn't have to stand there all day washing the clothes. She could get on with other things. And then eventually the dryer came along, and she was able to take the clothes out of the automatic washing machine and put them into the dryer. And of course, almost a seamless process. Of course, in those days also the clothes usually had to be ironed, where today we use fabrics that don't tend to be ironed nearly as much, and so the amount of ironing that needs to be done tends to be very, very little. Hi, my name is Jim J. Davidson, and I'm a property developer. I first got involved in property in 1973 at the age of 16, when my brother and I purchased a flat in the student area of Edinburgh. My current company, Fineside Developments, was established in 2003, and we completed our first new build in 2006. This channel is really dedicated to providing you some of the things that I have learnt along the way. I'm not an expert. I don't profess to know everything, but what I do know, I hope, will help you on your property journey. So what's the point of that story? Well, in business, I have learned over the years that if I want to grow the business, I need to start employing other people. I need to be able to delegate certain functions of the business to other people to carry them out. Often those people are actually better qualified to carry out those functions than I am. I am then able to focus on the things that I'm good at, but also in building the business by looking at the larger picture, about being able to steer and give leadership to the business so as it grows. But on the other side of that, within our home lives, there are often things that we do that really don't contribute a great deal to our lives. And there's people who operate their own businesses, or they would be gainfully employed if you delegated those tasks to those people. And so it's not about shirking your own responsibilities, it's about being much more productive in your time, to give you the freedom to do the things that you love to do and want to do, and to take pressure away from the need to do these things. You come home from a busy day in your business and you really don't feel like doing the washing or tackling the chores around the house. Whereas if you come home and those things are already done, then how much better that is. You're then able to use the time to relax or to do whatever else is that you want to do. So here's the technique that I suggest you follow to identify these activities. I suggest that you create your own chart and write down every activity that you do in the house. Now this could be things like washing. That could be clothes, it could be dishes, just let's put housework as an activity. There could be certain DIY activities that we do, gardening. Anyway, you get the picture. You put down all the activities that you do, and then you look at the next column here and you take the number of hours or minutes and hours that you spend on this on a weekly basis. And so you quantify what the time that you've spent for these activities during the week. And then the next column, what you do is you take your hourly rate. In other words, what is it you are worth per hour? And then you multiply this by your hourly rate to put a value on it. And then the next thing you do is you look at the cost of outsourcing that activity. And when the cost of outsourcing that activity is cheaper than what you can do it for, then you look at that and you delegate that to somebody else to do, because that's an investment. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment to give you that life of choice. Now you may also consider that even where the value of you doing it is actually less than it cost you to outsource it. If you value your time more than anything else, then there's an opportunity still to delegate that. And when you do this, you will actually free yourself up to do other things. But the second benefit is, and it's a thing that comes from completions. If you go into, and you've seen this happen before, a house can often become very untidy very quickly. So there's just one or two things that are not in its place. And then because those things are maybe not all in their place, then the next thing gets left. And you basically go around the house, and eventually the house becomes just a sea of different uncompleted tasks. And yet, so you've done this sometimes, one day you say, I've had enough of this. And you start to just clean up a little bit. So you maybe just clean up a corner of the living room. And as you started to clean up that one corner, you think, well, I'll just go over here and clean this other bit up. And then you think, oh, I should just go and clean that. And eventually what you find yourself doing is going around the house, and eventually, maybe 2-3 hours later, the house is completely tidy. You didn't have the energy to do that in the first place. But suddenly now you feel energized and you feel that you've got a place that is just looking great, and you feel really, really energized, and you could probably then go and do something else. And that comes from a psychological situation of where incompletions drain your energy, completions give you energy. Imagine another example where you've got a stack of magazines, and they're magazines that you want to read, but somehow you just never get round to reading them. I tell you, if you decide to take those magazines and say, I'm going to make this complete, and throw them in the bucket, now you might think that's a waste of time, but actually it will give you energy because you've decided to make something complete. So it's not always about completing things, it's sometimes about making things complete. You've probably come across this in your work situation where you have a to-do list. Isn't there great excitement every time that you can tick something off on your to-do list? I bet you've added things onto your to-do list that you've already done just so you can tick it off or score it out. You see, completions give you energy. Incompletions drain energy. And so when you're able to take these mundane activities and outsource them to somebody else, and you come home to that home that's clean, with the cooking already started and in place, with the washing already done, and you can go into your wardrobe and your shirt or blouse is there ready pressed for you to wear. How does that make you feel? You feel energized. You feel you're able to relax because everything is done and everything is in its place. So I hope you found this video useful. This is about creating a life of choice. So you might think this is not so related to property, but believe you me, it is, because if you're wanting to build that successful business and live that life of choice, you have to control and get control over your personal life as well. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we'd love you to do that. We're always looking for more subscribers to support us. If you like this video, please give us a like and share it. And if you're not already a member of our membership site, why not? Come and join us. And there's lots of free content in there that's not available on this YouTube channel, and it is free to join. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. And until then, should I say, stay safe and look after yourself. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos, then click to watch the next video. Please remember to visit our website at builditandprosper.com to get our app, or click on the button on the YouTube header if you're on desktop.